Welcome back, my dear students, once again to your YouTube channel. In today's video, I shall be continuing with the next part of your Act 3 Scene 2 of Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, and I have been following this particular edition of Julius Caesar. By now you all know this is edited by Roma Gill. Alright, so as far as I remember, we had stopped at line number 74, wherein the citizens are asking Antony to deliver his funeral speech. Alright, so we will continue from there on page 56, line 75 onwards, Antony's speech. But yes, before I begin, let me remind you, if you've been finding my videos helpful, they're helping you to understand the texts better, and you are being able to score better, kindly do not forget to give me a like and also to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It shall keep me motivated. Alright, so without further ado, let's get started now. Antony's speech. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. Very, very significant speech from your examination's point of view also. This particular speech of Antony is replete with irony and sarcasm. Alright, so this is a very important scene from your examination's point of view, and this is one particular speech which Antony will be delivering, which will change the entire course of action of the play. Let's see. Antony says, friends, Romans and countrymen. Look at the adjectives he's using to address the common people. He's calling them friends, so as to mean that I am one of you, I am not your enemy. Romans, to remind them of their roots, and countrymen, to remind them of their belongingness. So very, very carefully chosen words used by Mark Antony. He says, lend me your ears, be patientful listeners. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. I haven't come here to speak in favor of Caesar. But of course, this is ironical, we'll see. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is often interred with their bones. The evil deeds that men do are talked about even after their death. While the good deeds performed by them and so often are buried. Whatever wrong things one person has done in his entire lifetime, they will be talked about even when he is long gone and dead. But all the good things that he has done probably will be buried with his dead body. So let it be with Caesar, and same thing has happened with Caesar. The noble Brutus hath told you that Caesar was ambitious. If it were so, it were a grievous fault. Noble Brutus has already told you that Caesar was extremely ambitious. And if it is true, then it was a grievous fault. A grievous fault, a fault causing great suffering. And grievously had Caesar answered it. And because it was a grievous fault, Caesar had to pay heavily for it. How? By giving his life. For Brutus is an honorable man. So are they all honorable men. So Brutus is an honorable man, and along with Brutus, the rest of the people who were a part of the plan to assassinate Caesar were also honorable. Notice how carefully Mark Antony is using his words. Mark Antony is specifically highlighting the fact that Brutus was honorable, so that these people, the conspirators, do not ever doubt Antony's action, even though they are not around. Okay. And at the same time, the Roman mob has now been manipulated by the words of Brutus. So if immediately Mark Antony is saying something to the Roman mob against Brutus, they will attack Mark Antony only. So slowly and steadily he is building up his case. A very, very shrewd politician, Mark Antony. He goes on to say, here, under leave of Brutus and the rest, for Brutus is an honourable man, so are they all honourable men. Come I to speak in Caesar's funeral. I have come to speak in Caesar's funeral with the permission of this honourable man. He was my friend, faithful and just to me. Yes, he was my friend, and he was a very close and dear friend. But Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honourable man. Caesar was my friend, and Brutus has labelled him as an ambitious man. Of course, if Brutus has said he is an honourable man, we cannot question him. See the power of rhetoric. Mark Antony becomes a skillful orator, banking on the power of rhetorics. Alright. And his tone in this entire speech is replete with sarcasm and irony. He goes on to say, he had brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransom did the general coffers feel. Did this in Caesar seem ambitious? So he's not saying that Brutus has said that Caesar was ambitious, so Brutus is wrong. He's not saying that. On the contrary, what is he doing? He is saying he had brought many captives home to Rome. Wherever he has captured, whichever kingdom he has captured, all those captured men he has brought them to Rome. And whose ransoms did the general coffers feel. And because they were captured and brought here, therefore the people wanted to take them away, their original, the people from their home, the king and the near and dear relatives would want to take them back. So they needed to pay a heavy fine for that, and they had to take those captive men back home. Now that money was used for the general welfare. So does that mean that Caesar was ambitious? If Caesar had been ambitious, he would have used that money for his own personal use, but he did not. So slowly and steadily pointing out the wrong estimation of Caesar through Brutus. When that the poor have cried, Caesar had wept. In fact, when the poor people in Rome have cried, along with them cried who? Caesar. So he was empathetic. Ambition should be made of sterner stuff. Had he been ambitious, things would have been certainly different. Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honourable man. So he is no way telling that Brutus was wrong, but rather only citing instances and examples to show that Caesar was not what he has been portrayed. You all did see that on the Lupercal I thrice presented him a kingly crown. Yes, on the feast of Lupercal, Caesar was presented the crown thrice, which he did thrice refuse. Was this ambition? And all the 3 times Caesar has refused the crown. So did that mean that Caesar was ambitious? Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and sure he is an honourable man. I speak not to disapprove what Brutus spoke. See how clever he is. But here I am to speak what I do know of. So I'm not saying that Brutus was wrong or Brutus has been wrong. All I'm saying is that these are the certain things I knew about Caesar. You all did love him once, not without cause. What cause withholds you then to mourn for him? All of you loved him. Then, if you all have loved him, what is holding you back from mourning for him? O judgment, thou art fled to brutish beasts, and men have lost their reason. So he's personifying judgment and saying men have lost their ability to think. Bear with me. My heart is in the coffin there with Caesar, and I must pause till it come back to me. I am so overwhelmed with emotion that I am unable to speak. So very carefully, Mark Antony appeals to the common Romans' sense of reasoning and asking them to think whatever Brutus has spoken. First citizen may think there is much reason in his saying. I think he's saying correctly. Whatever he says is actually correct. If thou consider rightly of the matter, Caesar has had great wrong. If you really think about it, then Caesar has been greatly wrong. You see the fickle-mindedness of the Roman mob. Third citizen, has he masters? I fear there will worse come in his place. Has he friends? Then I'm sure if he has gone away, someone worse than him would come and sit on the throne. So see how Mark Antony's verbal persuasion has started working on the minds of the Romans. Mark ye his words, he would not take the crown, therefore it's certain he was not ambitious. Mark Antony's verbal persuasion. Because the fourth citizen says here, did you hear what Mark Antony had to say? That Caesar was offered the crown thrice, and each time he had refused it. So it's certain that he was not ambitious. So now the Roman mobs are going against Brutus's sayings. If it be found so, some will dare abide by it. Poor soul, his eyes are red as fire with weeping. Antony's eyes have become red. That's not a nobler man in Rome than Antony. So they see immediate shift in perspective. The mob has now started favoring Mark Antony. Now mark him, he begins to speak again, and Antony continues his speech. But yesterday, the word of Caesar might have stood against the world. Now he lies there, and none so poor to do him reverence. See how helplessly he's lying on the ground, and there's no one who would be paying respect to him. O masters, if I were to dispose to stir your hearts and minds to mutiny and rage, I should do Brutus wrong and Cassius wrong. So he is now consciously naming the conspirators in front of the Roman mob to fan the flames of revenge in the hearts of the Roman mob, the common people of Rome. Why? Because he loved Caesar dearly and he wanted to avenge Caesar's assassination. So he says, your hearts and minds to mutiny and rage. Hearts and mind should be revolting against this atrocity. I should do Brutus wrong and Cassius wrong. Brutus and Cassius should be punished for their sin. Who you all know are honorable men. And when I talk about Brutus and Cassius, along with them, I have also mentioned the honorable men, that entire group. So you'll know who all the honorable men are. So fanning the flames of revenge in the hearts of the Romans. I will not do them wrong. I rather choose to wrong the dead, to wrong myself and you, than I will wrong such honorable men. But no, I am not saying anything. I do not wish to do them any harm. But here is the parchment with the seal of Caesar. I found in his closet. It is his will. And now comes the masterstroke from Antony. What does he do? He takes out the will of Caesar. What is this will of Caesar? Now remember, Caesar did not have an heir. Okay. So he needed to give away his property to his successors. The whom would he give to, since there was no son? So this is very important. The will is actually the dying declaration of one's property. the legal declaration. Okay. So because Caesar did not have an heir, so his property would go to whom would be very significant. And Antony has brought that will, and he says he has found it in his closet and he wishes to read it out in front of the Romans. Very, very important and very significant from the place perspective. Let but the commons hear this testament, which, pardon me, I do not mean to read. He says, I have got it with me, but I do not wish to intend to read it out in public. And they would go and kiss the dead Caesar's wound. Why? Why do I not want to read it out in public? Because if I dare read it, the common men who have gathered in front of me, they would go and kiss dead Caesar and dip their napkins in his sacred blood. Their napkins would be dipped in the blood of Caesar. Why? Because see, this is the time of Renaissance. And during Renaissance, the king was looked upon as the representative of God on earth. So Caesar's blood, the king's blood, would be the sacred blood. So the Romans would be dipping their napkins in his blood. Yeah, beg a hair of him for memory. Apart from that, they would also love to pluck the hair of Caesar and keep it as a memory, fond memory. And dying, mention it within their wills, bequeathing it as a rich legacy unto their issue. And even when they would be dying themselves, they would keep telling it to their own children about the magnanimity of Caesar. Fourth citizen will hear the will, read it, Mark Antony. So, Mark Antony's persuasive power. Citizens, the will, we will hear Caesar's will. Mark Antony. Have patience, gentle friends. I must not read it. It is not meet. You know how Caesar loved you. I do not wish to read it out in front of you and make you understand how much Caesar loved you. You are not wood, you are not stones. This is very significant. Remember in Act 1, Scene 1, when Flavius and Marullus were reprimanding the citizens were called stones, wood, and hard-hearted whatnot. But here Mark Antony calls them, y'all are not wood, y'all are not stones. But men, and being men, hearing the will of Caesar, it will inflame you. It will make you mad. It's good you know not that you are his heirs. It's advisable that I should not tell you that Caesar has named each one of you as the heir to his property. He's telling, I do not wish to tell y'all anything, but he's actually giving out the information. Very, very smart move. For if you should, oh, what would come of it? You see, the curiosity of the mob has been skillfully aroused by Mark Antony through his verbal persuasion. And now the citizens want to know the will in detail, because Mark Antony has already given them the hint that Caesar has named the common men as the heir to his property. Fourth citizen, read the will, we'll hear it. Antony, you shall read us the will, Caesar's will. Fourth, Antony, will you be patient? Will you stay a while? Do you promise to be patient, listeners? I have overshot myself to tell you of it. I am already gone too far in giving out so many details. I fear I wronged the honorable men, and I am worried that I shouldn't have spoken so much, because I was supposed to only speak what Brutus and his associates have asked me to, whose daggers have stabbed Caesar. And he is reminding the Roman citizens that Brutus and his men have stabbed Caesar. I do fear it and I am worried. This is very important. He says, I think I have said more than I should have said. Alright. And in telling this, I have gone overboard and wronged the honorable men. So he's skillfully reminding the public of the crime of the conspirators. He does not call them traitors, but makes the public call them the traitors. So this is the power of oratory of Mark Antony. Alright. They were traitors, honorable men. So Mark Antony did not call them traitors. It is the public who calls them traitors. Mark Antony just sets the stage for calling them the traitors. The will, the testament, second citizen, they are villains, murderers. The will, read the will. So the curiosity of the mob has been increased so much that they are going on asking for the will. Antony, you compel me then to read the will. Then make a ring about the corpse to Caesar. Then create a circle around Caesar and stand. And let me show you him that made the will. And I wish to bring in front of you the person who has been so large-hearted, who has given away everything to you all. Shall I descend? Should I come down from the pulpit? And will you give me leave? Will you permit me? So you see, this is the humility of Mark Antony. He does not wish to address them from the pulpit anymore, because pulpit is supposed to be a raised platform. He wanted to ensure that he is one of the common Romans. The Romans feel that Mark Antony is not one of those senators, but one of them, common men. So Mark Antony walks down of the pulpit and comes down. Okay, and standing in front of Caesar's dead body, he will be reading. So citizen says, yes, come down. Second citizen, descend, and Mark Antony, come down. You shall have leave, a ring, stand around, stand from here, stand from body, stay a little way away from the body. Room for Antony, most noble Antony. All this while, Brutus has been noble, but now Mark Antony has become most noble. Now I praise not so upon me, stand far off, don't come and crowd around me, please stand a little far. Stand back, room, bear back, move back, move back, move back. So citizens are making space for each other. And then comes the second famous speech of Mark Antony in the play. But before we begin this, children, I think we should stop here, because another 150 lines more to go, and if I continue, you will lose your interest. Okay, I promise I'll be back very soon with the next part of this video. Till then, if you have not got any particular part from this section, please do write in the comment section. I will definitely get back to you. Till then, take very good care of your health, and goodbye.